Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mastermind Moments podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
Hi, good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good
Good
to
afternoon,
see
even.
you. Oh, good afternoon for you. Good morning for me. How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. It's very hot here again. You remember last week I was pretty much dripping with sweat when we jumped on the call,
Yeah.
and I asked if I could keep my window open, and it's probably just as hot today. It's
Oh
pretty hot.
no.
Yeah.
Oh my
Although
God.
I'm complaining while you live in Miami and it's definitely much hotter there. But yeah.
Yeah, it's super hot here. Honestly, it's hasn't been too bad about it, but it's been okay. Out in the mornings or the evenings. Like if you go out midday, like bring a ton of water and sunscreen, basically.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing I don't miss about Miami. I love Miami, but I don't miss the heat and the humidity. Oh my God, the humidity.
Yeah.
That killed me. I much
Yeah,
prefer
I don't
dry heat.
mind. Yeah, dry heat's so nice. I feel like I love humidity though, because in dry heat, my skin gets so dry, and in humidity, everything is working. But it's like my skin works in humidity, but my hair works in dry heat.
Yeah,
Not that you would think about that, but that's why the Northeast is where
okay.
everything works the best, because you get like a mix. But Miami
Interesting.
is, yeah,
Yeah,
Miami's fun. I mean, I like it. It's a good time. How was your week?
it's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting
Okay.
week. So I think one of my bits of homework was to not drink, to stop drinking. And literally, so I think we recorded last Thursday, didn't we? And the next day, I think I told you it was a very challenging weekend to avoid that because I had basically a 3-day bender. I was going to the cricket, which you know what cricket is, right?
Yeah.
Like baseball kind of thing.
I'm half Indian, of course.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Good point. So yeah, I had the cricket, which is a heavy drinking thing in the UK. I mean, it literally runs for about 7-8 hours. So you have to get through the day somehow because the sport's not that interesting.
Yeah.
And then I had a festival on Saturday and Sunday as well. So it was literally a 3-day bender. So it was a challenge. I will say that I did drink on the Friday. However, I haven't drunk since.
Okay.
So
One day out of 7
uh,
is fine.
yeah, one day out of seven, I mean, I can't complain. And I am setting the intention now that I'm done drinking. I'm done
Okay.
drinking. And I mean that now. I know you've heard that so many times before, but I really mean that now.
That's okay. We can figure out ways to, like, obviously I'm your accountability partner, so we can totally figure out ways that you can actually stay to that strategy. No, I totally feel you with the homework. Like my homework was to do my morning routine, and I did it 5 out of 7 days. Like I didn't get to do it over the weekend. We were waking up, we were so busy this weekend. We had people in from out of town, and I didn't I didn't make the time really to get up that extra 20 minutes and get my shit together. So like same with you. Like I did it for most of the days, my homework, but there's still a couple slip ups, but I think that's normal
It
for
is.
progress. Like what matters is that we're doing it.
I think
So,
setting the intention is the most important thing, and whether we actually do it 100% of the time, it doesn't really matter as long as we're doing it most of the time. Because if you're doing it most of the time, then you're going to build that consistency eventually. So I think we've both done pretty well over the last week. One
I
of
think so.
my other bits of homework was you set the intention to launch a side hustle, which I thought was a little bit ambitious.
Or start, just
Yeah,
like start something.
start working on it, I think was the way I perceived it, the way I translated it. So
Right.
what I've been doing over the last week is doing a lot of brainstorming in terms of things that I can actually tangibly work on and live the life that I want to live. I think that was my homework from the previous week was what do I want from my next job? What do I
Mm,
need from my next job in order to be happy, in to stop me from jumping around so much?
right.
And I basically took that list, I implemented it into different side hustles, different business ideas as to what could allow me to travel, to have that financial freedom, to have the financial success that I want. And I've come up with a few ideas. And funnily enough, so you sent me a reel. Was it this
Yeah, I
morning?
did. I think it was this morning or last night.
Yeah,
Can't
and it
remember.
is really funny because one of the big ideas that I came up with was a travel agency, and it's something that I've considered for a while. I don't know if we spoke about this before, but I'm very passionate about travel. I know my stuff when it comes to traveling. I've traveled so much, especially over the last 2, 3 years. So I thought travel agency was a really good idea, and then you sent me this reel about a kind of travel agency platform that can be used, and I was looking into that today as well. There's a few ideas bubbling around, so I just need to actually start working on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you. Yeah. I mean, honestly, doing the brainstorming is half the work anyway, and like figuring out, okay, what options do I have? And I know there are tons of these platforms online where you can plan other people's trips. Like, I would love to plan other people's like birthday and bachelorette weekends because it is so much fun for me. Um, Planning trips is so much fun. Also, speaking of which, have you been to Greece?
I have been to Greece.
Okay, you have to we're going in a couple weeks.
Are
You have
you?
to send me yeah, that's the August trip that we're, like, doing. You have to send me your recommendations, please.
How can you possibly become I think you did tell me this actually, and I was so offended that you're going to Greece. You're coming so close by and you're not saying hi.
I mean, also, you're trying to save your money not traveling too, so
Yeah,
what are we doing, really?
I know.
We're like, "Okay, save your money, but also spend it if you're coming to see me."
Well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting actually bringing the money back up in relation to the alcohol. I know it's just jumping around a bit, but I one of the main reasons I gave as to why I want to stop drinking for a long time is money, because
Mm,
drinking is the only thing that I will end up spending 100, £200 in a night doing, buying rounds, whatever it may be.
yeah.
And of course, I drank on Friday and I spent about £150. So I remember, I don't know if you remember this, when I stopped drinking back in towards the end of last year, and I
Mhm.
went quite a long time without drinking, but I drank on New Year's Eve and I got really drunk. And
We did too.
I had the most horrendous hangover the next day, like
Yeah.
vomiting. It was really bad.
Yeah.
And that was a perfect reminder for me as to why I was stopping drinking. And I feel like this last Friday, was another perfect reminder as to why I stopped drinking. I didn't have a hangover, but I spent £150.
Yeah.
So,
You know, like, financial hangover.
exactly, absolutely, it is. That's a very good way of putting it. And that
Buyer's
£150,
remorse, it's like a real thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That £150 could have been spent on a trip to Paris. So,
That's what I'm saying. Okay, well, maybe that's the goal. Maybe if you don't drink, I think, well, it's about 2 weeks. If you don't drink in the next 2 weeks, maybe we can link up in Paris or in Greece if the flights are cheap enough for you. But Paris
yes.
definitely, I mean, with the train, you can drive too, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Can drive. So,
Okay, cool. Well, good to know. Um, in the meantime, we should start on our first segment.
we should.
We want the wheel. We we want the wheel. Okay, I'm spinning. We have a winner. Social. What are your top tips for building and maintaining strong friendships? What do you think?
Asking the wrong person. I don't know anything about that.
What do you mean? What are your top tips for building and maintaining strong friendships?
I
You're literally
know,
the
I'm
best person to
joking.
answer this.
I'm
Ugh,
joking. Come on.
sarcasm.
Sorry, it's
Sarcasm.
the arrogant sarcasm. As I've built a very strong social circle over the last few years. I think I mentioned it in the first episode that the way I judged it was over how many Instagram followers I gained.
Yeah.
The big thing for me that's really worked is just putting myself out there. So before the last 2.5 years, 3 years or so, I was a bit of a hermit. I kept myself to myself. And I really didn't get out there at all. I wasn't meeting new people. I stuck to the circle that I knew, which what I was finding very demotivating. And there was something that switched when I stopped gambling, where I just wanted to change my entire outlook on life and my entire sort of brain chemistry and the way I thought about things. And I think historically I have been an introvert. There was an element of shyness and me not wanting to meet new people, me being scared of meeting new people. But when I made that shift to just making sure that I socialized and put the energy out there, I literally found every social event that I could in London over the course of a few months, and I went to every single thing. So this started probably around like April 2022.
Okay.
And I went to pretty much every single anything that popped up on my phone, via the Yes Theory group, via Meetup, via anything, I would go to it over the course of maybe 4 or 5 months until about October or so.
Okay.
And as a result, I made so many friends. I was putting myself out there. I was going to these events, and I wasn't just standing in the corner sipping on my drink. I was going out and talking to people,
Yeah.
introducing myself to as many people as possible. There's one moment that's really stuck with me over the years. I met one of my dad's friends a couple of years ago called George, and it was a bit of a party. I don't remember exactly what the event was. I think it was like a after party for a concert or something. And I watched him as he went round to every single person at that party, and he stuck his hand out and he said, "Hi, I'm George. Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm George." Exactly word for word, the same tone, the same smile on his face to every single person in that party. He made
Yeah.
sure that everyone knew him, that he knew everyone. He remembered everyone's names. And that really stuck with me. And so every single social event since then, or since the last of 2.5 years anyway, I've made a point to do that. I go around to the party, I introduce myself to everyone with such
It's
something as
so
simple
you.
as, "Hi, I'm
Yeah.
Josh. Hi, I'm Josh. Are you having a good
You
time?"
having a good time? You having a good time, bro?
And that was me all weekend on Saturday and Sunday at the festival. But
I've
yeah,
said this before, I'll say it again. Josh at a festival is my favorite thing ever. And you do that. You actually and I've witnessed it firsthand. Like, you go up to people and you're like, "Hey, how are you? You having a good time, bro?" Like,
what
you're
it sound like.
so it's yeah. No, it sounds much better in your actual British accent than my
Mhm.
fake British accent. But yeah, it's the best thing ever. So just, like, going out and initiating and introducing yourself
Going
is
out,
like
initiating it, introducing, and then in terms so that's a great way to build those connections, and it's not a deep connection just doing that, but of course it can build into something deeper because from that
right.
approach, I've some of my closest friends now, some of my best friends, probably lifelong friends, came from literally just going up to them and going, "Hi, I'm Josh. Nice to meet you."
Mhm.
And at a big social event, and you can build on those connections, and some of them you'll never talk to them again after that initial sentence, but you can really build on that. And I think it's really important to maintain it via texting, via the occasional phone call, via making sure people that you care about, and we've spoken about inner circles before,
Yeah.
focusing on building that inner circle over time and focusing on that. I think that's really important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say the same things, like, as far as, like, building friendships, like, find the communities that feel really aligned with your values. If you're super into health and maybe not partying for example, you're not a big party person, you're not gonna go to a party, like, go to a rave and meet a ton of people who are aligned with your values, like, you might go to a workout class or whatever and meet people, so, like, definitely insert yourself into communities that share your values and just go and initiate, just go up to somebody and say, "Hey," because most likely everyone else is feeling like kind of weird and uncomfortable and awkward. And honestly, like my thing is I go up and I just comment on someone's outfit or what they're drinking. I'm like, "Hey, like I love this dress you're wearing. Like where did you get it?" And that's my approach, right? But as far as maintaining relationships, it's always I think it's just about effort. So, like making sure like sometimes if you have like a list of people, like even if you build out those circles that we talked about. I think we talked about it episode 2, so if you haven't listened, go back and listen. There are circles of people in your life, and maybe actually writing down who's in those circles, and your inner circles, obviously, you know who they are, but, like, more of the outer circles. If you write down lists of names and you just remember to go back, like, once a month, once every couple months, check in, send a text, send a voice message, a call, whatever. Just go and have some effort. I think that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
so easy, in my opinion, to maintain friendships while not smothering people as well. I think
Yeah.
that can be quite easy to do sometimes, but actually, it's literally a case of just checking in on people every now and then. I know there
Yeah.
are some friends who I don't speak to for potentially months, and occasionally they'll drop me a text and say, "Hey, bro, how are you doing?" And that to me, yes, is not a deep connection necessarily, but it's just nice, and it makes me think that they're thinking about me, and so why don't you be that person? Why don't you be the one that initiates that? I had a text from our old friend Matt literally a couple of days ago. Yeah,
Matt.
and I haven't spoken to him
Mm.
in maybe a year. We haven't texted each other, and he just texted saying, "How you doing? Let's catch up." And so it's things like that that I haven't seen Matt in 6, 7 years, I don't think.
Yeah, it
And there have been so many of these things happening recently, actually. I bumped into Heather the other day, or bumped into, she was coordinated. And Clay, I saw Clay the other day for dinner, and there's
uh,
been a bunch of these people I haven't seen or spoken to in years, but actually, when you do see them and or they occasionally they'll reach out and say, "Hey, I'm around. Do you want to catch up?" It means a lot, and that's a really easy and simple way to maintain the friendship.
I think it's awesome, and just sitting here talking about our community we've made through, like, this Tony Robbins camp, just brainstorming here, we should totally have either of these people send in messages so we can mastermind with them, or we should totally have them on the pod.
Absolutely. That's such a good
Yeah.
idea, because I think they're all very like-minded people, so it's a
Yeah,
really good idea.
and they'll also understand, like, what we're talking about because when I send the Wheel of Life to some of my friends who they have 0 context of what we're doing or and they're like, "What is this, like, wheel you're sending me? What is this?" Jarvis people get it immediately, so we can leverage that as well. So, let's get into the meat of the episode, okay?
Okay.
Because like, I think this plays into how I'm feeling about everything. So, as you guys know, I send Josh my personal little spin-off episode where I send him my weekly voice message Friday afternoons by the pool. Like that is what I do. That's where Josh gets all the tea, all the series updates. So it's like a big range of everything. This episode is going to have its own song and everything. I don't think you got a chance to respond. Did you get a chance to listen?
Nope, I listened to it, I just didn't get a chance to I've been so
That's
busy
cool.
this week, yeah.
No, that's totally cool. But it wasn't I just wanna make sure you listen to it because the message I sent on Friday wasn't the happiest. I was pretty down in the dumps about I was feeling really isolated, I was feeling really left out. I was like the friend thing has just really been getting on me. I mentioned a few weeks ago, a few in the episodes, if you guys have listened, that I've been taking a step back from initiating in a lot of my friendships because I realize I am the person who makes a lot of effort, and sometimes I can smother a little bit, like you were saying. That can happen when I'm constantly the one reaching out and being like, "Hey, do you wanna hang out? Do you wanna do this? Do you wanna do that?" And that can be a lot. And, this weekend, things, like, finally made a shift from the last couple weeks, even months, like, the friend area, the social area of the wheel of life has been going so poorly for me. But this weekend was a complete 180. I'd say it, like, really filled up my cup again with the friends, which is a stark contrast to what I told you on Friday. Saturday, Sunday was a complete 180. Things were so good. We went to Coffee and Chill, which is like a wellness event in Miami. It's like coffee and cold plunges. I went to 420 yoga in the afternoon. Sunday, we had a boat day where we had 10 people from all walks of life, people from Tony Robbins, my childhood friends, Paul's childhood friends, 2 strangers we met the night before. A lot of people came together and had a boat day with us, and then in the afternoon, I was hanging out by the pool and really hung out with my neighbors, like, from the people I see at the pool every Sunday. It was really nice, and I really got my people cup filled up, and I realized that I'm really good at the people thing. I'm really good at it, and maybe I shouldn't be having these super strict rules around refusing to initiate with people. Maybe I do need to set different kind of boundaries, like, maybe not stop initiating 100%, maybe it's, okay, take turns with people, like, I'll initiate, and then if they don't initiate back, I'm not gonna try again, basically.
Yeah.
But it was honestly such a 180, and I feel so good in that space right now. Since this weekend, I've been invited to so much shit, Josh, like, it's crazy. And it's nice. I think also it helps when Paul's there as well because a lot of times I go to these things by myself because Paul is very introverted.
Mm.
Going with Paul is helpful because especially for like other couples because it's like, "Oh, like you both should come to this run club or this party or whatever." And it's a lot easier to kind of do that as opposed to me going to everything by myself all the time, which I can do, but it gets old. But that's like the area that's been going really well, which from Friday to Sunday, complete 180, complete difference. Tomorrow, I'm going to a workout with a girl I met over the weekend. Like, I met
Wow.
so many people. Yeah.
Nice.
We invited 2 girls on Saturday night. We went out. Paul's friend was in town. We went out, we hit a couple bars, and we met these girls. And I was like, we have 2 more spots on our boat tomorrow. Do you want to come? And they showed up.
No way.
So in true every stranger is a friend you haven't met yet, just sometimes it's just like hey, we had 2 extra spots, do you wanna come? And that's not something that a lot of people would do, but they had good vibes, it was a good time, and I'm going out and doing a workout with one of these girls tomorrow and just good to just I don't know, I find that when you're meeting somebody, maybe just planting the seed for the next thing, For example, like, where do you work out? Oh my god, I haven't tried that yoga studio. I'll go anytime, just let me know. And it's, like, a great thing to do. So that's the area that's been going super well.
That's
I just
good.
wanna ma ma
And it's really interesting hearing you say that because I don't remember when it was, the last couple of weeks at some point I said that I find with my social life that the energy I put out there is what I get back in abundance.
yeah.
And it sounds like that's what's happened here is that you have put that energy out there, having refused to initiate for understandable reasons. I go through those phases too where I feel like I'm the only one who initiates. And I take a step back and refuse to initiate and I wait for people to come to me and my diary completely clears up. It completely
Yeah.
slows down because I'm not putting that energy out there. I'm not putting that social butterfly energy out there anymore. And so it's really interesting to hear that it sounds honestly like that's exactly what's happened here is that you've made a shift in your mindset and in your energy and it's actually come back in abundance and it's continuing to do so off the back of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's if my strengths lie in being really great with people, why am I squashing that within myself? Just because I feel hurt that my current relationships aren't, like, two-way streets? Like, okay, there are tons of other people out there, like, going and getting involved with maybe with different communities and meeting new people. Maybe if that's what it needs to be. But yeah, definitely the energy you put out there is coming back. So I think I need to adjust my rules a little bit around the initiating. Like, I think maybe just taking turns is probably the best thing for me right now. And we'll see. We'll continue to adjust as time goes on. The area that's not going so well right now is, I'd say, physical health. There are two areas to the physical health, right? There's like the movement and the food. So movement's been okay. I still manage to get movement in every day, and that for me, it's whatever feels good where I am in my cycle right now. A walk even counts, or stretching or whatever. And I'm still managing to do that every day. Like last night, I didn't get a chance to work out, or yesterday, I didn't get a chance to work out at all. And then I came home from a movie and it was like 7:30 and I was like, okay, well, I didn't get a chance to go to the gym. I'm just going to go and walk on the Stairmaster for 20 minutes just to do something. And that I'm maintaining movement, which is great. But it's the food thing that's really getting me right now. I've been eating like total shit for the last, I'd say, like, couple weeks. Like, typically I don't keep any junk food in my house. Like, everything is very healthy, it makes it easy for myself. But like right now, my house is stocked with so many sweet treats. But also, like, I have a lot of discipline typically when it comes to sweet treats. Like, my boyfriend does not, but I do. Like, I have 2 boxes of candy, like, 2 cookies, 3 pints of ice cream because they were on sale. Ice cream was half off, so I got a bunch. And just I have cheesecake in the freezer. Like, I have so much stuff in the apartment. And not that I'm eating it immediately, but, like, it's also been a very social weekend, and I letting loose. I haven't even been being disciplined in that. And for me, like, the rule is eat clean at home, and then when you're out, be a little bit more lax. But I've been being lax the whole time, which has just been rough on my body. Like, I don't feel great.
Why do you think that is? What shifted?
I think it's like a matter of, well, in the same way that momentum is built when you're being healthy, I think momentum is also built when you're being unhealthy too. It starts with I think it kinda starts with stuff in the house and, "Oh, ice cream is half off. Let's stock up on these super expensive pints that I wouldn't normally buy because they're on sale." Like, and I could try these $10 pints of ice cream for $5, just put them in the freezer and eat with them whenever. And listen, I bought them, like, maybe a month ago, and I still haven't eaten a lot of them. I'll have a little bit at a time. But I think it's, like, the socialization too, and it's like the weekend where the whole Friday night, didn't have anything to do, but I was in a foul mood. I sent you, like, a voice message. I was in such a bad mood on Friday, and I was like, "Okay, well, I have nothing to look forward to as far as socializing, so I'm just gonna have that piece of pizza that's in my freezer because at least it gives me something to spark dopamine when I'm feeling down."
Yeah.
And then it's like the socialization on top of that, and then and I don't stop, you know?
And how, if you've been through this before, how have you shifted away from it previously?
I think I just get really strict about my rules, to be honest with you. When I came back from Health and Wealth, Tony Robbins event in Fiji, I was so good about it. Okay, 6 cheat days a month, that's 1 a week plus 2 extra days whenever. And honestly, it was like not super sustainable for me. And then I switched to you eat healthy all the time, but then you get 1 cheat meal Friday, 1 cheat meal Saturday, 1 cheat meal Sunday. And that was somewhat sustainable, but not super sustainable. And then recently it's just been like, okay, eat clean at home. And then when you're out, don't give a fuck. And it's just these rules and systems are not working. They work for a little bit, but then I have to adjust. So maybe it's like a matter of, I don't know, figuring out a system that works and like actually sticking to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is it sounds like you're not getting much consistency. So you're making these rules and then it's not working for you. And so you're shifting it to something slightly easier. And then that's not working because how much time are you giving these rules?
The first round where I just did 6 cheat meals a month, I was pretty consistent with it for 3 months, up until not up until I saw you, but I was definitely thinking about it when I saw you in March.
Hmm.
It fell off. Honestly, it fell off when I started traveling. I was gone for the entire month of May. The entire month of May was just a shit show because I was on vacation, I was eating like crap, I was with my family, like, it was a mess. I was going through a very difficult time in May. So, honestly, the traveling set it all off, but it was like 3, 4 months with the super strict rules. Now it's just I have no rules around it, basically. But
Okay.
yeah, I am making it easier and easier for myself right now.
Which is okay. Which is okay. But then if it becomes too easy, then you get to a point where you are now where you're not feeling happy about it. I mean, when you say it's bad right now, is it really that bad? Or does it feel bad? Are you being harsh on yourself?
I think it's a mix. It's not good. It's not great. For example, last night I went to go see a movie, and in my, like, super health craze, I'm going to see a movie on Tuesday night. I don't need the snacks, like, I can bring something from home to eat. But no, I got popcorn and candy last night. But for what? You know what I mean? A couple bites into the popcorn, I was like, I'm gonna regret this." And I'm already regretting it, but it's like, I already got the thing, I already spent the stupid amount of money on the popcorn, so might as well eat it, right? And that's, like, where I got caught up. And I think for now the best approach is gonna have to be Monday through day Friday, like, clean at home, and then even when I'm home on the weekends, just keep it clean, and then if I'm out Friday through Sunday, indulge.
Yeah.
Or if it's, like, a special takeout night or whatever.
Yeah.
But even takeout nights, we can keep it on the healthier side too. But, yeah, that's, like, where I'm at. That seems like it's gonna be the best approach.
You're still working out. You're still moving, what, every day?
Yeah.
Almost every day?
No, every day. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
say at least a walk
Okay.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something my godfather used to say to me when I was growing up is he used to go to the gym, but then he'd come home, or I would go to the gym with him when I was like 18, 19, and we'd go and get a kebab afterwards and fries and burger. We would go and indulge afterwards. And he always said to me, the reason he goes to the gym, the reason he works out is so that he can indulge at times. Not all the time, but so he can indulge and not feel guilty or not feel the effects of it as much as he would otherwise. So I think it's okay to indulge. It absolutely is every now and then, as long as you are keeping an active lifestyle, which you do more than anyone I know, to be honest.
Yeah.
Except for me at the moment. I'm pretty active right now. But yeah, I mean, I know that you are super harsh on yourself, especially from a health perspective. You have been for as long as I've known you, to be honest, or certainly for the last few years.
Honestly, yeah, it's true.
And so I think it's important to allow yourself that indulgence every now and then. Of course, you don't want to be doing it too much, but from where I'm sitting, it sounds like you're not. It sounds like, I mean, you went to the cinema and you got popcorn and candy. What else did you eat for the rest of the day?
Yesterday wasn't great. Okay, so I got up in the morning. I had a leftover acai bowl that Paul got me, which honestly is just so much sugar, but like still relatively healthy, just like a lot of sugar. So I was like on a sugar high all day.
Mhm.
And then I had my meal prep for a early dinner, which was meatballs and spaghetti squash, which is I don't know if have you ever had spaghetti squash?
No.
Okay, basically it's like it looks like spaghetti, but it's actually just squash
Okay.
that's like stringy. So it's like meatballs and spaghetti squash. I just wasn't hungry by the time I got to the movie, but I wanted the popcorn. So again, the day wasn't super bad. It was just like that evening
Mm.
thing that I didn't necessarily want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. And I think it sounds to me like you are maybe being a little bit harsh on yourself because you're
Okay.
so health centric and harsh on yourself when it comes to health in general.
I slip up, I'm so mean to myself
Yeah, I
now.
know, and I've seen that so many times before. If you even go like a week where you're having a bit of a unhealthy week and things, I see your sort of mentality shift drastically.
Yeah.
And you've got to be really careful with that. You've got to allow yourself to be unhealthy sometimes, to be disgusting sometimes. Over the weekend, I was awful. I was eating nothing but junk food because I was at the festival and it's quite hard to find healthy options there. And I was snacking and I felt disgusting at the end of the weekend. But actually, the more I thought about it, I'm working out pretty much every day, at least in some form, just like you are. And so it doesn't really matter if I have 1 or 2 of those days in a week. You don't wanna be doing it too frequently, but that's why it's important to have rules to follow, and if you break those rules slightly, it's not the end of the world, and you shouldn't be so harsh on yourself, but
Yeah.
at least you have those guidelines to follow as closely as you can.
Yeah, I think I need to my homework for this week, I definitely need to sit down and really actually think about a system that's gonna work for me. And then once I have a system and I indulge and the indulgences I think about beforehand and I not plan it per se, but I'm indulging, then I don't feel any guilt around it. It's more just when the indulgences come up that I didn't plan for, that I didn't have it like intentionally going into that indulgence, that's where I get caught up. And to be honest with you, the real fear here, if we're gonna get super deep, is I recently lost a ton of weight. I lost like, I don't know, kilograms, what we talk about this all the time, but I lost like 20 pounds since the beginning of the year. I'm finally fitting back into my old clothes, and that was like the biggest thing for me. It took me years to do that. I'm just fitting back into my favorite jeans, and my biggest fear is that I'm gonna gain all the weight back and not and just lose all the progress, and that's always my fear, is, like, whenever I indulge too heavy, I'm like, "Oh my god, you're ruining all your progress that you made, and you're fucking it up."
Yeah, yeah, which but again, you should never compare yourself to how you were before, how you will be in the future. You've got to focus on how you are in the now. And of course, it's important to have target weights and a goal ultimately.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be comparing yourself to, oh, I was like this a week ago or a month ago. I need to get back to that level because everyone, especially as we get older, everyone's weight fluctuates much more easily. Our metabolism gets slower, not
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah. True.
And that's just something that you've got to accept eventually, and you've got to
Yeah.
control it as best you can, but it's going to happen, and you can't be again, this is a case it sounds to me like you're being extremely harsh on yourself.
Yeah, I gotta figure out the line for myself because sometimes I can indulge and I don't not hurt myself at all, and then other times it's like I don't feel bad at all about indulging over the weekend. Like, I don't feel bad about that whatsoever because I was enjoying whatever. I feel bad about it last night and the night before when I had the ice cream that I bought, like, that's what I feel bad about. It's, "Oh, these are regular weekdays. Why am I indulging for no reason?"
Yeah, but I think it's okay to do that. It's okay to do that to an extent. I
Extent.
know you disagree, but I think it's
I'm really hard on myself about this. Okay, well, that's my homework. I really gotta sit on the system and really figure out, okay, like, what's actually gonna work for me.
yeah. You've got to figure
Um,
out a set of rules that you can actually stick to, and obviously the original rules that you set yourself, as you say, you stuck to it for 3 months, which is great. But then you went back and you made it easier and easier until you're at the point you are now. I think you
yeah.
need to set a set of rules that you are comfortable with and that you can add to for a long period of time and not beat yourself up over.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, that's what I'll do. How are things for you?
How are things for me? Well, from a fun perspective, my life has been fantastic over the last
Yeah.
week. As I said earlier on, I was at the cricket and then I was at a festival over the weekend, and it was a techno festival, which I absolutely loved. I went with a couple of friends on the Saturday, went solo on the Sunday, and it was just, yeah, a great time. Had such a good time. However, on the flip side of having fun and raving all weekend, my physical health has really suffered. So what happened was I went out on Friday. We were at the cricket all day, drinking all day long, literally for about 9, 10 hours of solid drinking. Too much. Actually, ended up getting an early night. We didn't go out too late. We got back to the hotel at 11:30 p.m. I then had to catch a train at 9 a.m. We pretty much went straight from the train station to the festival with no shower, no breaks. I didn't have time. I went straight to the festival. and was there from about 2 o'clock until maybe 11 p.m. I then went straight from the festival to meet some other friends at a after party at a nightclub slash after party, and we stayed until 6 a.m.
Oh my god.
I then
Okay.
probably got 5 hours, if I'm lucky, sleep. 5 hours of very poor quality sleep before I had to wake up again and go back to the festival. So running on very little sleep, not looking after myself from a health perspective, from a sleep perspective, from any way really, from my physical health. I wasn't working out except for dancing
I mean,
1,000 hours.
dancing counts though,
It does, of
especially knowing
course.
the way you dance too.
Well, yeah. I mean, I actually will. You do that with your arms, but I learned a new way of dancing this weekend. And I say learn is pretty pathetic. I was very bouncy. I was
Okay,
very
that works.
jumpy. I've never been like a jumpy dancer at these things before, but I was a completely different dancer this
That
time.
totally counts as working out, especially
Oh,
if you're doing
absolutely.
that for 10 hours
A
straight.
hundred percent, 100%. So I got my cardio in, that's for sure. I probably did, got maybe 20, 30,000 steps, probably even more than that, to be honest. But wasn't getting enough sleep. I wasn't eating healthily, and I was really feeling it as a result. On Saturday morning, I was exhausted. Sunday evening, after the festival finished, I said to my girlfriend, I felt defeated. I felt I've never felt so defeated in my life. I felt drained of every single emotion, any energy physically. I was just done, which has carried in really until today. I'm still exhausted. It takes time to catch up on your sleep, and I have been getting at least 8 hours sleep every night since then. But it took it out of me, and so I think I love partying. I wasn't drinking or anything like that over the weekend at the festival. I love partying. I love the music. I love electronic, techno, whatever type of music.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I can't also look after myself. There are ways I can still get enough sleep. I didn't have to go to the after party on Saturday. I didn't have to go all day and dance all day. I could have taken time and taken myself aside and sat down, but I didn't. So my physical health really was affected by that. And I think alongside that, my mental health naturally suffered because I was so physically drained. My brain, I think, was also just exhausted. And
Yeah.
so there's been some pretty drastic mood swings over the last couple of days where, yeah, nothing to do with come downs or anything. It's just, I was just having very drastic mood swings because I was so
Yeah.
tired. And it's really affected my motivation, which
Yeah,
is
lack of sleep will
naturally,
do that to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, 100%. Yeah, my motivation levels have just been an all-time low. So I've been trying to, or before Thursday, Friday, I was researching sort of side hustles and a new business or whatever I'm going to do. But since then, it's just been stagnant because I've been so demotivated. And with my job as well, I'm sitting at my desk doing my work or trying to do my work. And what would normally take me an hour or 2 hours to do is now taking me all day over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
So it all stems to physical health, really, I think.
It's really interesting that you say that because I've been experiencing, now that you're saying it, I'm realizing it. I've been experiencing the same thing like these last couple days. Like it has been so like I've just been so unmotivated to do things that are normally very easy for me. And it's maybe there is, I mean, honestly, there definitely should is a link between physical health and motivation. Like if we're not taking care of our health, then we're not motivated to do the shit that we need to do. So there's very interest. I mean, it's clear that there's a link there. So maybe it's you just need a really, really need a good night's sleep and just some serious
Yeah.
rest time to take care of your body, you
No,
know?
I need to take a step back and actually look after myself. And my concern is, to be honest, that this month is very heavy for me, very busy. It's August, so it's the time to be partying. This weekend, for example, I've got a concert on Thursday, and then Friday, I've got an all day festival. I'm literally going straight from that festival to catch a bus to the north of England, which is a 7.5 hour bus overnight. I'm going straight from that bus to another all day festival in the north of England. That festival finishes, I get the bus straight back down overnight. So I can sleep, of course. I can sleep 7, 8 hours on that bus, but it's going to be poor quality sleep.
Yeah.
and it's going to be the same again. And luckily, at least I have Sunday off, so I can rest and recover on Sunday.
Okay.
But it's and luckily also after this weekend, it's much more tame, I guess. I've still got festivals here and there, but it's nothing to the extent of what I've been doing this week, last weekend, and this coming weekend.
Well, it
So,
sounds like your challenge with sleep is my challenge with food, basically,
mm,
where, like during the weekend, we might go crazy and then it bleeds into our week. And that's where things get messed up. So maybe like for you, well, you have Sunday. So maybe it's like blocking off Sunday and your schedule, your diary on Sunday is like your only job is to sleep and to get yourself set up for the week, but just to like just rest, recover, a lot of electrolytes, just take care of your body. Like maybe that's your homework is like just on Sunday, just sleep and take care of your body and that's it. That's your only and get ready for the week and that's your focus.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think Sunday, I mean, like a good Christian boy, you're meant to rest on Sundays, right? I
Oh,
think. Is that a thing? I don't know. I
I
should know.
I guess. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I'm
I'm not a
asking.
good Christian boy.
No, well, me neither. But yeah, so no, I think that's a good idea. And I also, luckily, after this, it's a very heavy weekend, of course, but am not going to drink. So that should hopefully make a difference.
Yeah.
But B, I can rest on Sunday. I have work on Monday and then I'm off for a week. So I'm going to Italy for a week,
Okay.
which will be the perfect opportunity to just completely
Rest.
revitalize, rest, get 15 hours sleep every night. Not quite, but get a good amount of sleep every night and yeah, really recover from the last couple of weeks.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, it sounds like you have a thing in place. Like you're gonna party for two weekends that are really hard. Sunday you're gonna rest. Monday you're gonna get your shit done at work, and then in Italy you'll just be chilling like a villain and like seriously taking some rest. I'd say go into your like week in Italy with a lot of intention about how you want to take care of your body and rest during your time off. And that sounds like where you're going and what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, I didn't really think of it like that. I didn't really think that, oh, okay, Sunday I can rest. Sunday, as I've had a few people say, do you want to do something on Sunday? So this is where I need to set my boundaries and say, nope, I need to focus on myself. This is my day to be a good Christian boy and recover.
Yeah, and you can always be like, "Hey, you guys wanna hang out Sunday? Maybe just you can come over and we can just order food and
And
watch
we can
and
all
just hang
sleep
out, watch a
together.
movie." Yeah, basically. We can just have a big cuddle puddle.
Sounds
Or maybe it's
delightful.
not like doing something super chill, be like, "If you wanna come to the gym with me on Sunday, you can," or whatever kind of good rest situation, like something so chill
Hmm.
where you can just relax. That might be like a good alternative if you want people time too. Like, for me, that would be the pool. Be like, okay, you guys want to hang out? Come to the pool with me on Sunday because
Yeah,
that's like a chill place to like just hang, rest,
for
whatever.
sure. Yeah, no, I think that's the plan.
All right, cool. All right, welcome, Lucy, to Mastermind Moments podcast.
Right. As of Wheel of life as of Thursday. I'd probably say family life, friends, social life, all of that sort of stuff, really strong in terms of like hobbies and other things. Yeah, I'm loving that. Working on basically trying to do an Ironman and that's going really well. So loving that. Finances and career. Well, finances are like strong. I put them a solid 8. Like career wise though, like proving difficult because don't get me wrong. So I should probably explain for context, trying to set up a new company. So it takes a lot of time and effort, but also has a job full time, which is a 40-minute drive away from where I live. So that's a pain. And don't get me wrong, definitely made some good progress recently. Very happy about that. We love progress. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh, for goodness sake, can I just get rid of this job? I hate this job, but you need the job for security and for everyone says, I also want to buy a house, and buying a house when you're an entrepreneur is a hassle. Like mortgages, like banks will just never even give you a thought, really. So need the mortgage, well, need the job to get the mortgage, but equally don't want the job because the job takes up so much time. So yeah, if I could just have the security and get a mortgage without a job, that would be wonderful. But that is living in delusional land, which doesn't exist. So yeah, That's the challenge of the day.
Yeah. Well, it sounds interesting because your friend Lucy has a very similar backstory to what you've been going through these last couple weeks, where you like the money from your job, but you don't love the job. You're buying a place, and it totally makes sense. Like, it is difficult to get a place when you're an entrepreneur. So maybe it's a shift in gratitude for what your current job does provide. It does provide financial security, and it is going to allow you to buy that house in the future. And maybe it's a matter of building out your business to the point where you can get it to your current salary at your job and then have that ability to quit. But it is going to take time. A lot of times with entrepreneurs, we want to start the business and we want it to be successful right now. But like you were saying, true entrepreneurship, that the most successful people are patient and they persevere and they know that they're doing a business not to get the immediate success right now, but to continue to improve and get better for something eventually later. And also just going into the business with intention of, if you're going into the business of starting a business with the intention to just get rich quick, that's not the point of entrepreneurship. It's really not. And the point of entrepreneurship is to get to know yourself, to really service your client, to make an impact in the world, and to leave the world a better place than you left it in whatever way your business does that. But what I would say as far as like an actual tactical strategy is, number one, meditate for sure and have gratitude for what your current job is giving you. Totally makes sense you're not liking it. In addition to those two things, I think learning how to leverage your time. So you say that the job is taking up a lot of your time. Is there a way that you can delegate some of your basic tasks to AI or to an assistant or an intern? Is there a way you can actually buy back some of your time with your 9 to 5 job? And you said you had a 40-minute commute to and from work every day. So that commute, the 40 minutes, I don't know if you drive or take the train. If you take the train, it might be a little bit easier than if you drive. But if you take the train, what can you do in those 40 minutes for your business? Like, that's what, a little over almost 2 hours of your life every day. You work on your business during that commute. Can you leverage your time in that way so that it's adding to that productivity? So it's also not bleeding into your social life either. But also, training for an Ironman and having a fantastic social life, like that is an accomplishment in itself as well. So I would definitely say figure out how to leverage your time, meditate, and really shift into gratitude. And maybe, like, again, climbing the mountain, it is a long-term process. So yes, maybe the job sucks right now, but it is helping you get where you need to go, you know?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, and I think
yeah.
it is largely about working, as you just mentioned there, working as efficiently as possible when you have the time. And yeah, the more smart and hard. So it's not just about working hard, it's about working smart, right?
Yeah.
If you've got both of those things going for you, so working smart can mean utilizing your time as much as possible. Then you're going to achieve these things hopefully much faster. And you will have setbacks. And I know every entrepreneur has those setbacks, but again, it's the people who can deal with those setbacks in a positive manner and bounce back from them that will ultimately be successful.
Yeah. If you're trying to get into entrepreneurship to be super successful and make money, like, you'll get there eventually, but going into it with that intention, it's going to take a long time. Like, for my first podcast, I worked on it for a year before I started making any money from it. Like, a
Yeah.
whole ass year. And even now, like, it's making revenue, but not a ton. Like,
Yeah.
not near. Yeah. So
And
it's just like it takes time.
you talk about gratitude, and I think really about celebrating the small wins as well.
Yeah.
That is effectively gratitude, but every small win you have, every new client you sign up, any slight success you have, celebrate it.
Yeah. Exactly. And having that perspective shift for your actual job as well. Yeah. Celebrating the small wins, having gratitude for what the job is giving you. And also, I don't know what your job is, but whatever impact you're making through your job as well. And just knowing that it's a small step, it's allowing you to buy a house eventually. It's giving you the comfort to be able to build your business without stressing about how you're going to make money.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
honestly, Lucy's on the right track,
She
you know?
is. No, she is absolutely. Yeah, no, and Lucy and I, we ran the marathon together a couple of months ago, the London Marathon,
Oh my
and
God.
I could not imagine training for for an Ironman after that. But go her.
Go Lucy. We love it. And guys, if you want us to mastermind anything with you, please feel free to send us a message. We would love it. And we'll see you guys next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.